The night arrives without announcement. It doesn't knock or rush. It simply settles, like cool air drifting over moonlit stone, like a thin veil of fog resting on quiet grass. Somewhere nearby, water moves slowly, not hurrying toward anything in particular. Leaves barely stir. Even the shadows seem content to stay where they are. This is the hour when the world exhales, when edges soften and sounds learn how to whisper. If you listen closely, you might notice how the night teaches patience. The pavement holds on to warmth just a little longer. Windows glow faintly, then dim. And above it all, perched on ledges, tucked into eaves or resting along old beams, pigeons grow quiet, round, unbothered, and remarkably at ease with the darkness. They are not dramatic birds. They do not demand attention. They simply are. Honestly, even the pigeons look like they've mastered relaxation. No apps, no tutorials, just feathers and confidence. Welcome to sleepy nature sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. Here, there's no pressure to stay awake, no expectation to remember anything. This space is like a small, friendly campfire deep in nature. Low flames, warm light, and familiar faces returning night after night. If this place feels peaceful, you're always welcome back. No membership card required, only your presence. And if you ever feel like supporting this gentle corner of the night, know that it simply helps us keep the lights low, the voices soft, and the nature facts extra cozy, like adding another log to the fire, slowly, carefully, without sparks. Tonight, we drift toward a bird that has shared human spaces for thousands of years. A bird so common it's often overlooked, and yet so quietly remarkable. The pigeon, a bird of rooftops and ruins, of city squares and ancient cliffs, of soft coos echoing through early mornings and late evenings. While the world sleeps, pigeons tuck their heads beneath their wings, bodies warm and round, trusting the night to hold them. We won't rush. We won't chase facts. We'll simply wander through feathers, memory, moonlight, and the gentle rhythms of a life lived close to the ground and close to home. So let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw loosen. Let the day slide away like a shadow dissolving into dusk. As the pigeons settle into stillness, we begin our quiet journey, following small wings into a very gentle kind of wild. There is a small kind of question that lives in quiet places, not in the sky where everything feels too big, not in the deep ocean where your brain starts inventing dramatic music, but in ordinary corners of the world, under rooftops, along stone ledges, beside a slow-moving gutter where last night's rain still lingers. Tonight's question is simple, soft, and close to the ground. The kind of question you can hold without squeezing. What does it mean to feel at home, in a place that never truly stays the same? Let it settle gently. No need to solve it. Just let it rest nearby, like a warm cup you don't have to drink quickly. Because home is not always a single location. Sometimes it's a rhythm, a familiar route, a certain angle of light, a ledge that fits just right beneath your feet. And pigeons seem to understand this in a way that feels almost politely impressive. They live among constant change, streets that shift with crowds, buildings that rise and age, seasons that come and go with their own slow moods. Yet pigeons keep returning to the same places, the same perches, the same quiet habits. Not because everything stays perfect, but because their sense of home is carried in something steadier than perfection. It's carried in routine, in the calm memory of a safe corner, in the soft recognition of a familiar skyline, in the gentle logic of "this is where I belong for now." If you've ever returned to a place you knew well, only to find it changed slightly, different paint, new sounds, a doorway replaced, you might recognize that feeling. That strange mix of familiarity and softness, like the place is both itself and not itself. Pigeons don't seem to dramatize that feeling. They don't stand on a ledge and sigh. They don't write journal entries about it. They simply adjust and settle. Honestly, it's a skill. Some of us need 3 business days and a supportive playlist just to accept that the grocery store moved the eggs. But pigeons? They glance, they blink, and they quietly continue being pigeons. And so, as the night deepens, we let this question drift with us, like a feather that doesn't hurry downward. What does it mean to feel at home, in a place that never truly stays the same? Maybe the answer isn't a sentence. Maybe it's a sensation, a loosening in the chest, a softer breath, a quiet certainty that you're allowed to belong, even in motion, even in change, even in the gentle reshaping of days. So for now, we don't chase the answer. We simply carry the question, calmly, kindly, into the night, and we follow the pigeon into its familiar world of rooftops, warm stones, and the steady comfort of returning. Tonight, the world feels like it has been turned down, like a lamp dimmed to its warmest setting. The air holds a cool softness, and the ground keeps a faint memory of the day's heat, especially where stone and brick have been soaking it up for hours. We begin in a landscape that many people forget can be part of nature. A city at night, not the loud city, not the city of horns and bright screens and everyone walking like they're late to something important. This is the city after exhaling, the city when windows go dark one by one, when sidewalks become gentle, when the air grows still enough to carry small sounds, distant water in a drain, a faint rustle of leaves, a far-off elevator sighing up a building like it's also getting ready for bed. Up above, rooftops lie like quiet islands. Ledges form small shorelines. Bold stone statues and beams create sheltered pockets where the wind becomes polite and slows down. And in these spaces, these calm, elevated corners, pigeons settle in. Pigeons are often called urban birds, but that phrase can sound as if they were invented by sidewalks. In reality, their ancestors lived on cliffs and rocky coasts. Their bodies still remember that world. A tall building can feel like a modern cliff. A bridge can resemble a sheltered rock overhang. A window ledge can become a tiny familiar perch where the night wraps around them like a blanket. It's gentle science, really, how animals make sense of place. They look for shapes and textures that feel right. They return to what is familiar. They choose resting spots that offer calm, warmth, and a good view of the world. Not for drama, But for comfort, a pigeon's feet are designed to hold on easily. Even when resting, their feathers overlap like careful roofing tiles, trapping air and helping them stay warm. Their bodies are built for steady flight, but also for steady stillness, because rest is not the opposite of living, it's part of it. If you imagine a pigeon now, you might picture a rounded shape, head tucked in, eyes half-lidded. A small creature perfectly content to let the night do what the night does. And the city, surprisingly, helps. Warm air rises between buildings. Small sheltered spaces form where wind softens. Stone holds heat longer than grass. A ledge becomes not just a place to stand, but a place to settle. The river doesn't rush. It's not trying to impress anyone. And the pigeons don't rush either. They're not auditioning. They're simply being pigeons. So as we drift deeper into tonight's world, we carry with us this quiet understanding. Nature is not only found in forests and wide open fields. Sometimes nature perches above a streetlight. Sometimes it coos softly under an eave. Sometimes it lives comfortably on a rooftop that feels like a cliff under a gentle moon. And here, in this softened landscape, our story begins to unfold. If you could step closer, quietly, as if you were approaching a sleeping cat who has very specific opinions about being disturbed, you might notice the first small wonder of pigeons. Their feathers are not just feathers. They are a whole system of comfort. A pigeon wears its body like a layered blanket. Each feather overlaps the next, creating smooth, quiet coverage. The outer feathers help with flight and shape. The inner down feathers hold pockets of air, and those pockets of air act like tiny warm rooms, small invisible spaces where the cold doesn't get invited in. And the colors. Even when a pigeon looks gray from a distance, up close there are hidden details. Soft charcoal, misty blue, a dusty kind of silver. Sometimes a gentle shimmer on the neck, greens and purples that appear like a secret when the light hits at the right angle. It's not flashy in a loud way. It's more like the pigeon is wearing subtle jewelry that only shows up when the lighting is polite. Feathers also need care, and pigeons are excellent at maintenance in the most unhurried way. They preen slowly, patiently, drawing each feather through the beak to align it, clean it, and keep it working properly. This is not a rushed ritual. It's a calm routine, like tidying your bed before sleep, or smoothing a blanket so everything feels just right. A pigeon may also use a little oil from a gland near the base of its tail. It spreads that oil across the feathers, helping them stay flexible and protective, especially important for a bird that lives around damp air, rain, and mist. It's gentle science, but it feels like common sense too. Keep your feathers in order, and the world becomes softer. And there's something quietly soothing about watching an animal do what it has always done, in the same steady way, as if time is not a problem that needs solving. Sometimes a pigeon pauses mid-preen, blinking slowly, looking as though it has remembered something important, and then decides it can think about it tomorrow. Honestly, same. As the pigeon settles at night, those carefully arranged feathers puff slightly. The body becomes rounder, warmth is saved. The head may tuck back, resting near the shoulder, beak nestled into softness. One foot might pull up into the feathers, because standing on one foot is apparently the bird version of getting under the covers. The city around it continues its quiet fade. A street light hums softly. Somewhere a distant door clicks shut. The air cools, but the pigeon remains calm, wrapped in its own gentle engineering. So when we talk about pigeons, we're not only talking about rooftops and sidewalks. We're also talking about the comfort of a well-made coat, a carefully layered softness, a small creature carrying warmth like a secret. And as the night continues to settle, the pigeon does too. Feathers smoothed, breath steady, body becoming part of the quiet. There is a sound that belongs to evenings, not the bright sounds of daytime, phones and footsteps and everything clattering like it has somewhere to be. This is a slower sound, a rounded sound, a sound that feels like it was made to match dim light. The pigeon's coo. It isn't sharp. It doesn't slice the air. It sort of rolls, soft, rhythmic, low. A sound that could almost be mistaken for the building itself humming in its sleep. Cooing is communication, but it doesn't feel like a loud announcement. It feels like a quiet conversation held close to the chest. Pigeons use coos in different ways, sometimes as a gentle call to a mate, sometimes as a calm statement of presence, sometimes as a soft way of saying, "Yes, I am here. Yes, this is my spot. And no, I am not making a big deal about it." There's something comforting about that. In nature, many animals communicate with urgency, but the pigeon often sounds like it's delivering the news with a warm blanket draped over the microphone. A pigeon can coo while puffing its chest slightly, a slow little swell and release. The rhythm can feel like breathing, steady, repeating, soothing. And because pigeons often gather in groups, the coos can overlap. A rooftop becomes a low choir, each voice gentle, none trying to outshine the others. If you listen long enough, it begins to sound like the night itself has a heartbeat. We can add a small bit of science here, softly, like placing a leaf on water. Sound travels differently depending on air temperature, humidity, and the shapes around it. In a city, sound can bounce off walls and drift through alleys, creating echoes that soften and stretch. A coo can move along brick like it is gliding, not walking. It can float down to street level, then fade before it becomes anything sharp. And the pigeon, somehow, seems satisfied with that fading. It doesn't chase the sound, it lets it go. There's also a calm social intelligence in pigeons. They recognize each other. They remember places. They form bonds. Their communication, coos, body posture, little head movements, helps them stay connected without needing constant noise. It's quiet cooperation. And if the pigeon's head bobbing ever looks slightly comedic, that's okay. It's part of how they see the world clearly while walking. Their head stabilizes their vision. So yes, they may look like tiny, determined pedestrians, but it's actually practical. Sometimes nature is practical in a funny outfit. So tonight, when you imagine pigeons resting above the streets, you can also imagine their sounds, soft coos blending into the hush, not demanding, not dramatic, just a gentle reminder that life continues slowly, calmly, in the dark. And maybe your own breathing can borrow that rhythm, quiet, steady, and content to fade softly into sleep. Pigeons have a talent for turning ordinary things into something older. A building becomes a cliff. A bridge becomes a rocky overhang. A window ledge becomes the edge of a familiar sea. Their wild ancestors lived among steep stone places, coastal cliffs, rugged outcrops, crevices where the wind moved around the rock in slow patterns. Those landscapes offered safety and a wide view. And even now, living in cities, pigeons still seek out that same feeling: height, shelter, and a spot that fits. So a rooftop at night can feel like a return. There's often less wind up there than you'd expect, because buildings create pockets where the air settles. A wall blocks the breeze. An overhang gathers warmth. A cluster of pipes or beams forms a nook that stays dry. These are small comforts, but pigeons notice them the way you notice which side of the bed feels best. And when pigeons roost, when they choose their sleeping places, they tend to pick spots that are stable, familiar, and shared. Many pigeons return to the same roosting site night after night. It's a routine, and routine has a calming weight. It tells the body, this is where we rest. We can let the science remain gentle. Animals save energy by repeating patterns that work. Finding a safe roost once is helpful. Remembering it is even better. A pigeon's memory for places is strong. They learn landmarks. They map their surroundings quietly, without needing a paper chart or a dramatic monologue. They do it simply by living. And on a quiet rooftop, you can picture the group settling. One bird shuffles slightly, another tucks closer. Someone adjusts a feather and then stops, satisfied. A few blink slowly, their eyes half closed, the lids soft. There is no rush to sleep. Sleep arrives the way fog arrives, thin at first, then thicker, until everything is softened. It's also worth noticing, pigeons can sleep while standing, and they can rest in a way that keeps them balanced. Their bodies are designed for it. Feet that grip, legs that lock gently, posture that holds steady without effort. It's like nature built them a tiny internal chair. Honestly, a feature we would all appreciate. As night deepens, the city below becomes quieter. Traffic thins, the bright edges fade. From above, the world looks gentler. Even the sharp angles of buildings become smooth under moonlight. And a pigeon, small, round, calm, fits perfectly into that softened geometry. The rooftop becomes not just architecture, but habitat, a place where warmth lingers, a place where sound is distant, a place where the body can relax into familiar stillness. So as you lie wherever you are, bed, couch, or the soft territory of half sleep, you can imagine that rooftop, a quiet cliff above a sleeping world. And on it, pigeons resting like small stones that have learned how to breathe, steady, quiet, and completely unbothered by tomorrow. Before the night fully settles, there is often a gentle pause in the pigeon's day, a time for a final bit of food, a little water, a last slow look around. Not a frantic search, just routine. Pigeons are foragers, and their meals often come in small pieces: seeds, grains, crumbs, bits of plants. In wild landscapes, they might feed on scattered seeds and fruit. In human landscapes, they adapt. They do not demand a perfect menu. They accept what the environment offers with a calm practicality that feels almost wise. You could call it flexibility. You could also call it pigeon energy, because pigeons have never been the kind of bird to stare at a dinner plate and say, "I'm not in the mood." They are more like, "Ah, food. Lovely. Thank you, world." Their feeding style is steady. A few steps, a soft peck, another step, another peck, a rhythm that feels almost like counting beads, one by one, without needing to arrive anywhere. And while eating, pigeons often keep a comfortable awareness of their surroundings, head movements that look like little nods. It's not anxious. It's just how they see well as they walk. Their vision and head movements work together like a smooth camera stabilizer. So yes, while they may look like they're politely agreeing with everything, they're actually just navigating the world clearly. If pigeons ever feel like tiny commuters, it's because they truly do move through shared spaces with remarkable confidence. Sidewalk? Fine. Park? Fine. Ancient temple steps? Fine. Pigeons have been around humans for thousands of years. They have watched empires come and go, and they've still managed to keep the same calm walk. That's honestly impressive. And when they drink water, they do something many birds can't. Pigeons can drink by sucking water continuously, instead of lifting their heads after each sip. It's a small biological detail, but it feels soothing, like the pigeon is taking a long, unbroken drink, the way you might sip warm tea slowly when you finally stop moving for the day. As evening deepens, the feeding slows. The last crumbs are found, the last sip is taken. The body begins to shift toward rest, because food is not only fuel, it's also a signal, a quiet closing of the day. And then gradually, pigeons drift back toward their roosts, toward ledges and beams and sheltered corners that feel like home. They settle in. They become rounder. They let the world dim. So tonight, let this part of the story feel like a gentle lesson from the pigeon. The day does not need a dramatic ending. Sometimes it ends with a small meal, a slow drink, and a soft return to a familiar place. There's a particular comfort in warm stone at night. You can almost feel it without touching it. How brick and concrete and old rooftop tiles hold the day's heat like a quiet secret. The sun leaves hours ago, but the warmth lingers, gentle and slow, as if the building is still humming a lullaby to itself. Pigeons notice this. They are small bodies in a large world, and small bodies appreciate warmth the way we appreciate a blanket that's been sitting near a heater. When a pigeon settles on a ledge or a rooftop beam, it isn't just choosing height or shelter. It is choosing a temperature, a texture, a little pocket of comfort. Their feet are made for this kind of life. Strong toes that curl easily, claws that grip without effort. And under those feet, a sense for stability, because a resting place that feels steady allows the whole body to soften. Sometimes a pigeon will pull one foot up into its feathers while standing. It looks like the bird is casually practicing a one-legged yoga pose, but it's really a quiet, warmth-saving habit. One foot stays on the ledge. The other foot disappears into softness, tucked into feathered insulation, like a hand slipped under a quilt. And if that isn't a mood, it's at least a lifestyle suggestion. Pigeons also gather in a way that feels like gentle community. They don't always press together tightly, but they settle near each other, close enough to share the calm. Warmth can spread in small ways, through bodies nearby, through the shared shelter of an overhang, through the simple comfort of not being alone. It's not loud friendship. It's the quiet kind. The kind where no one asks you questions. The kind where you can just sit and exist and let the night do its work. A little gentle science drifts in here, softly. Birds regulate their body temperature through behavior as well as biology. They fluff feathers to trap air. They choose sheltered places. They reduce movement when resting. All of these actions save energy. All of them make the night easier to hold. And because pigeons often live where humans live, they've become experts at finding tiny microclimates. The warm spot behind a vent, the sheltered ledge under a roof edge, the corner that stays dry after rain. It's like they have an invisible map labeled cozy zones. If pigeons had a travel blog, it would be called Top 10 Rooftop Nooks for Maximum Comfort. And every post would end with bring snacks. So tonight, imagine a pigeon standing quietly on a warm ledge, 1 foot tucked, feathers puffed, eyes soft, the world below dimming like a theater after the final scene. No rush, no effort, just warmth, stone, and the slow agreement of rest. And as you breathe in, you can borrow that feeling, like your own body is settling onto a warm place, safe and steady, ready to drift. Some animals carry maps inside them. Not paper maps, of course. Nothing folded awkwardly in a pocket. Something quieter. Something built into the way their bodies and minds understand the world. Pigeons have long been famous for their ability to find their way home. It's one of those facts that sounds almost magical, but it's really a gentle layering of senses working together, calmly, in the background. And the nicest part is, the pigeon doesn't look impressed with itself. It doesn't fly around like, behold, I have navigated. It simply returns, as if arriving is the most natural thing in the world. There are several tools in a pigeon's navigation kit, and we can hold them lightly, like pebbles in the palm. Pigeons use landmarks, the shapes of buildings, the line of a river, the way a neighborhood sits against a horizon. They also sense the position of the sun when it's visible, and there is evidence they can detect Earth's magnetic field, using it like a subtle compass. Imagine that. A quiet internal compass, always present, always humming softly, even when no one is paying attention. It's like having a sense of direction, without needing to open an app or argue with a GPS voice that sounds disappointed in you. Pigeons also learn routes over time. They don't always take the same exact path, but they build familiarity. A city becomes a pattern of known shapes. A landscape becomes a remembered rhythm. And because pigeons live close to humans, they often travel through environments that change. A building appears, a street closes, a new tower rises like a giant metal tree. Yet pigeons continue to find their way, adjusting gently, not making it dramatic. If you've ever been thrown off by a road detour and felt personally betrayed by it, pigeons would like to offer you silent mentorship. They do not take detours personally. They simply reroute. There's something soothing in that idea. Direction as a calm practice, not a stressful demand. And perhaps that's part of why pigeons feel so at home in motion. They're not just flying, they're reading the world, listening to its shapes, feeling its cues, remembering where the safe places are, where the familiar ledges wait. Tonight, we don't need to picture a long journey. We don't need speed or distance. We can imagine something smaller and softer. A pigeon drifting over rooftops at twilight, turning gently, recognizing the world below like a friend. A river line, a row of trees, a roof edge that catches the last light. Then, without fuss, it arrives at its roost, quietly, like a thought returning to the center of the mind. And as the pigeon settles, we can let that internal compass idea settle too. A sense of home doesn't always need proof. Sometimes it's simply felt. Sometimes it's remembered in the body. Sometimes it's found again, gently, without hurry. The night has a way of changing sound. During the day, noise feels sharp, stacked, busy, like someone spilled a box of metal objects onto concrete and then called it the soundtrack. But at night, the same city becomes a softer instrument, fewer notes, longer spaces between them, more room for quiet, and pigeons live inside this soundscape like small listeners. A distant motor hum becomes a low background river. A late elevator cable sings faintly in a building's spine. A streetlight buzzes with a tiny electric steadiness. And somewhere above, near the roofline, there is the gentle rustle of feathers as a pigeon shifts its weight and resettles. Even the pigeon's movements sound quiet, like fabric, like a sleeve brushing a blanket. In nature, sound is information, and pigeons are tuned to it in a calm, practical way. They notice patterns. They recognize familiar rhythms. They learn what belongs and what doesn't without needing to panic about it. They're not searching for meaning in every noise. They're simply sensing their environment as it is. There's something deeply restful about that kind of listening. Not the listening that tries to solve everything, just the listening that notices and then lets go. We can add a soft science note here. Pigeons hear well, and like many birds, they are sensitive to low-frequency sounds. That means the world may come to them as layers, some audible to us, some felt more than heard. The vibration of distant traffic, the deep hush of wind between buildings, the quiet pulse of the city's larger body, and the pigeon, perched and still, becomes part of that system. A living point of calm inside a wide, gentle hum. Sometimes you might hear pigeons flutter, wings shifting, feathers catching air. It can sound like a soft page turning. It can sound like someone smoothing sheets. It's a comforting sound, because it's not a warning sound. It's a settling sound. And if a pigeon coos at night, it blends into the city's lowered volume like a bass note, warm, rounded, unhurried. It doesn't compete with the world. It simply rests inside it. If you imagine the city now, you can imagine it as a sleeping creature too. Buildings like ribs, streets like veins, lights dimming like eyelids, and above, pigeons resting where the air feels calmer. It's funny, isn't it? We think of cities as human-made, but the night shows something else. A shared habitat, a place where animals learn the rhythms of our structures. And we, if we're paying attention, can learn their quiet ease in return. So let the soundscape soften around you. Let the distant noises become background water. Let the close noises become feather rustle. Let your mind listen without grabbing. Like a pigeon on a ledge, you don't need to do anything with what you hear. You can simply settle into it and drift. Pigeons see the world with a steadiness that feels almost gentle. Their eyes sit on the sides of their head, giving them a wide field of view. It's like having panoramic vision without needing to turn your neck constantly, though pigeons do enjoy a good head turn, and sometimes they do it with the confidence of a tiny librarian checking who just walked in. Their eyes are calm instruments. They take in light and shape and movement, and they do it quietly, without commentary. At dusk, when the sky shifts from pale blue to soft charcoal, pigeons remain comfortable. Their world is not made only for bright sunshine. They understand the in-between light, the evening glow, the streetlight shimmer, the moon's thin silver wash on rooftops. You can picture a pigeon on a ledge, blinking slowly as the light fades. The city below dims. The windows become fewer. The shadows grow longer and softer, like someone gently stretching a blanket across the streets. A small science note, very lightly placed. Birds often see more detail in flickering light than humans do. Their vision is quick, sensitive, tuned for motion and pattern. And pigeons in particular can perceive colors and subtle differences in tone that we might miss. The world may look richer to them, more layered, more textured, which is a lovely thought. That even when we see gray pigeon, the pigeon might see itself as a complicated little painting of soft shades and shimmering greens. And there is that famous pigeon head bob again, an odd little movement that seems comedic until you realize it helps stabilize their vision. When they walk, the bob keeps their view steady, letting them focus clearly on objects and distances. So yes, they look like they're politely agreeing with the sidewalk, but they're actually doing advanced visual processing. If pigeons could speak, they might say, "I'm not nodding at you. I'm calibrating." As night deepens, pigeons often become quieter visually too. They choose their roosting spots. They reduce movement. They blink longer. Their bodies shift into rest mode. The eyes, those wide, steady eyes, become half-lidded, as if the bird is gently closing the curtains on the day. And this is where we can let the imagery become slower. The moonlight on a feather edge, the soft shine of an eye that reflects a street lamp, the stillness of a body that has chosen a place and decided kindly to stop moving. There is no drama in this transition, just a gradual softening. If you find your own eyes growing heavy, let them. Let your gaze unfocus. Let the room around you become a gentle blur. Like dusk turning into night, your awareness can drift from crisp detail into softness. Tonight, we do not need to see everything clearly. We only need enough light to feel safe, and enough darkness to feel sleepy. And somewhere on a ledge in your mind, a pigeon blinks slowly, as if it is practicing the art of letting the world fade. There's a quiet kind of beauty in being ordinary. Not the ordinary that means dull, the ordinary that means familiar, the kind that doesn't demand performance, the kind that says, you can exist without trying to be impressive. Pigeons carry this comfort with them. They are not rare animals you travel across the world to glimpse. They are not hidden in remote forests behind complicated permits. They are here, on roofs, in parks, along sidewalks, near benches where people sit and think. And because they are common, we sometimes forget to look closely. But if you do look really gently, really slowly, you find small wonders. The way a pigeon stands with calm confidence, like it has never once asked permission to take up space. The way it preens with total dedication, smoothing feathers one by one as if it has all the time in the world. The way it coos softly, not caring who hears, not trying to win anything, just communicating in a warm, rounded tone. There is something restful in that. Pigeons remind us that life doesn't have to be dramatic to be real. We can place a small science note here, as softly as a feather. Pigeons have lived alongside humans for a very long time. Domesticated forms have been used for carrying messages, and wild populations have adapted to human structures. They are resilient, flexible, observant, not flashy about it, just quietly capable. And yet, the pigeon doesn't seem to take credit. It doesn't pose like a hero. It simply continues, walking, resting, eating, returning home. If you've had a day where you felt like you needed to be more than you are, more productive, more perfect, more exciting, pigeons would like to offer you a gentle alternative. Be ordinary. Be steady. Be enough. Sometimes the most peaceful thing in nature is not a spectacular event. It's a simple rhythm repeated. A creature doing what it was built to do, without worry about whether anyone is watching. And if a pigeon ever looks slightly like it is judging you, it's probably not. It's just looking. Pigeons have faces that can appear thoughtfully stern, like a tiny professor who has seen things. But the truth is, they are mostly concerned with pigeon matters. Feather alignment, warm ledges, the next crumb, a good place to rest. In other words, simple things. So tonight, let the pigeon's ordinariness be a gift. Let it loosen the pressure in your chest. Let it soften the idea that you must be remarkable to deserve rest. You are allowed to be ordinary. You are allowed to be still. And as the pigeon tucks into its feathers, calm and unbothered, you can tuck into your own quiet. Nothing to prove, nothing to chase, just the gentle comfort of being here and letting the night take over on a quiet ledge, close enough to share warmth, but not so close that anyone feels crowded. Pigeons gather in a way that feels politely social. They are not always dramatic about companionship. They don't throw parties. They don't send invitations. They simply choose to be near one another. And in that simple choice, there's a gentle kind of belonging. Pigeons often live in flocks, and flocks have their own calm logic. The group offers comfort, familiar faces, a shared sense of routine. Even when individuals wander, they often return, like people who don't text all day but still meet at the same cafe, quietly loyal to the habit of each other. There's also the subtle language of pigeon friendship. It's not only coos, it's distance, it's posture. It's the slow way one bird steps aside so another can settle. It's the shared stillness of resting together without needing to fill the air with noise. If you watch closely, you might see tiny acts that feel almost like manners. A pigeon makes space. Another pigeon tucks in nearby. Nobody makes a speech about it. We can hold a soft science note here. Many social animals benefit from living near others. Shared alertness, shared learning, shared access to food and safe roosts. In pigeons, flock life can also mean shared navigation cues and the quiet reassurance of familiarity. A place feels safer when you've seen others rest there peacefully, and there's something soothing about the idea that safety can be social without being loud. A gentle, we're okay that comes from presence, not from words. Pigeons also form pair bonds. They can be surprisingly devoted. You may see two pigeons sitting close, necks angled gently toward one another, as if they've both agreed to be in the same quiet mood. Sometimes they groom each other lightly, small, careful preening that feels like a soft handshake. If you've ever had someone fix your collar or brush lint from your sleeve, you know that feeling. A small touch that says, I see you, I care. Except in pigeon terms, it says, your feathers are slightly misaligned, and I love you enough to correct them. It's romance, but practical, and the flock itself can feel like a nighttime blanket, not a heavy one, just a nearby warmth, a presence you can lean into without thinking. Tonight, as you rest, you can imagine your own mind as a small flock of thoughts. Usually they flutter around, bumping into each other, trying to be important. But now, they can settle. They can become quieter. They can sit near each other without needing to perform. Let the thoughts gather softly. Let them rest. Pigeons teach us something gentle here. Companionship doesn't always need conversation. Sometimes it's simply sharing the night side by side with no expectation except calm. And as the pigeons on their ledge grow still, their quiet friendships become part of the hush. Another soft layer of comfort in the dark. If you ever find a pigeon's nest, you might pause, not because it is grand, because it is modest. Pigeon nests have a reputation for being simple, sometimes just a shallow arrangement of twigs on a sheltered ledge. And there is something strangely endearing about that simplicity, as if the pigeons looked at the entire concept of home renovation and said, no thank you, we're keeping it minimal. But minimal doesn't mean careless, it means efficient. A pigeon chooses a spot that offers protection, an overhang, a beam, a corner where wind and rain soften. Then it brings small pieces, twigs, stems, bits of plant material. Sometimes the collection feels like a gentle scavenger hunt, but without the frantic energy of searching. It's more like, this will do, this will also do. Ah yes, a perfectly respectable twig. And then the nest exists. Not ornate, not decorated, just enough. That just enough carries a quiet lesson. The nest is a place for eggs, for warmth, for the simple beginning of life. It doesn't need to impress anyone. It needs to work. It needs to hold steadiness. It needs to be in the right place. A gentle science note drifts in. Pigeons typically lay 1 or 2 eggs per clutch. Both parents often share incubation duties, taking turns warming the eggs with calm patience. The body becomes a living shelter. The nest becomes a small, stable center in a changing world. And the night around it continues, streetlights humming, wind moving softly along edges, the city breathing in long, quiet intervals. There is something tender about the way pigeons take turns. One parent rests while the other sits. Then they switch. Not with drama, not with negotiation. Just a quiet agreement that care is shared. If pigeons could write a relationship book, it might be titled Taking Turns, a practical guide to quiet devotion. And honestly, it would probably be soothing. The nest itself doesn't ask for perfection. A twig may stick out at an odd angle. The edges may be uneven, but the purpose is met. A safe place to begin. A small cradle of calm. And perhaps that's what home can be sometimes. Not a flawless structure, not an ideal image, just a place where you are held. Tonight, as you rest, imagine that idea settling in your chest. You do not need a perfect life to deserve softness. You do not need everything arranged neatly to deserve sleep. A pigeon nest is a quiet reminder. Sometimes enough is sacred. And while the pigeons sit in their gentle turn-taking, the nest remains still, a small whisper of shelter under the wide umbrella of night. There's a quiet fact about pigeons that feels almost like a bedtime secret. Pigeons feed their young with something called crop milk. It isn't milk like mammals make, but it serves a similar purpose. Nourishment, warmth, the steady beginning of growth. Both pigeon parents can produce it, which already feels like a very thoughtful arrangement, as if nature said, let's make this a shared job. Everyone deserves a nap. Crop milk is produced in a part of the pigeon's throat called the crop, where food can be stored and softened. During the time of caring for young, the lining of the crop changes, producing a rich, nutrient-dense substance that the parents regurgitate to feed their chicks. The science is real, but the feeling of it is gentle. It's one of those facts that makes you pause and see pigeons differently, not just as birds on ledges, but as devoted caretakers with a surprisingly specialized skill set. And there is something quietly beautiful about how understated this devotion is. Pigeons do not announce it. They do not hold press conferences. They simply feed their young again and again with patience that looks like stillness. Young pigeons, often called squabs, are born soft, helpless, and quiet in that newborn way. They stay in the nest while they grow, and the parents return, offering warmth, food, and presence. It's care in the most natural form. No drama, no urgency, just steady return. If you picture this at night, you can imagine a nest tucked under an overhang, safe from wind. The parent pigeon settles, body covering the chick like a living blanket. The chick is warm beneath feathers. The world outside is dim, and the city sounds are far away, softened. Sometimes it's comforting to remember that nature holds many forms of gentleness. We often hear about survival, about competition, about sharpness, but there is also feeding, warming, waiting, returning. Pigeons are masters of this quiet tenderness, and the humor here can be a small whisper. It's slightly amusing that pigeons, often treated like background characters, have this surprisingly intimate, almost miraculous feeding method. It's like discovering that your quiet neighbor is secretly a gourmet chef. You're walking past like, oh, pigeons. And meanwhile, pigeons are out here producing crop milk like, welcome to advanced parenting biology. Tonight, let that fact land softly, not as a headline, as a warm, reassuring detail. Care can be ordinary. Devotion can be quiet. Nourishment can be humble. And if your mind has been tired, if you've been carrying things, let the image of steady caregiving soothe you. Not because you have to care for anyone right now, but because it reminds you. The world contains gentleness that doesn't need permission to exist. Under the night sky, in a small nest, life is fed slowly, lovingly, without fanfare. And that slow kindness is part of the quiet wild we're drifting through together. Pigeons live with time in a way that feels simpler than ours. They don't measure their day by calendars or notifications. They don't scroll and suddenly realize an hour disappeared. Their day is shaped by light, temperature, routine, and the calm rhythm of returning. Morning brightens, and pigeons become active. Evening dims, and pigeons soften. The body listens to the world's cues. This is not a complicated lifestyle. It's a natural one. A gentle science note softly offered. Many animals rely on circadian rhythms, internal clocks influenced by light and dark, to regulate sleep, feeding, hormone cycles, and behavior. Pigeons are no exception. As daylight fades, their bodies begin to shift. Activity slows. Roosting becomes appealing. Rest becomes easy. You can almost feel the city's light cues in their world. The sun sinks. Buildings cast longer shadows. Streetlights blink on. The air cools. And pigeons, without needing to schedule anything, start to settle. They also learn human patterns. In a place with consistent routines, pigeons may anticipate when food appears, when crowds gather, when parks quiet down. They become quiet observers of our habits, like tiny feathered timekeepers. If pigeons could talk, they might say, "Ah yes, it's the part of the day where humans pretend they are calm while carrying iced coffee very fast." But at night, the patterns soften. The world becomes a slower story. And pigeons, who have practiced this for countless nights, slip into rest like it's a familiar room. Sometimes the pigeon's sense of time is also memory. A roost is not just a place. It's a repeated return. Night after night, the same ledge, the same corner, the same beam that feels steady beneath their feet. Repetition creates comfort, and comfort makes sleep possible. We can borrow that. Tonight, your own body can notice its cues, the heaviness of your eyelids, the slowing of your breath, the way your shoulders want to drop, the way the day's thoughts can begin to feel less sharp, more distant. You don't need to force sleep. You can let sleep arrive the way it arrives for pigeons, through rhythm, a soft dimming, a familiar place, a body that decides it has done enough. And there's a gentle humor hidden in the contrast. Humans often create elaborate bedtime routines, special teas, special playlists, special pillows, while pigeons are like, ledge, feather, done. Some nights that simplicity is inspiring. Not everything needs optimization. Sometimes rest is just rest, so let the night guide you like it guides them. Let the darkness become permission. Let your mind unclench its grip on time. You don't need to be anywhere else. Like a pigeon returning to its roost, you can return to stillness and let the hours hold you gently until morning. Rain changes the world in a calming way. It smooths the air, it deepens color, it quiets footsteps. It turns the city into something softer, reflective, slow, almost dreamy. For pigeons, rain is not a crisis. It is simply weather. Their feathers, carefully layered, help shed water. The oils spread during preening can help keep feathers resilient. And pigeons, being experts at finding shelter, often choose places that soften the rain's reach, under bridges, beneath roof edges, inside tucked corners of architecture where drops become a gentle fringe instead of a full curtain. A pigeon in light rain may look slightly thoughtful, feathers dampened, head tucked a little, eyes blinking slowly, as if the bird is considering the philosophical meaning of drizzle. But mostly, it waits. It doesn't argue with the sky. It doesn't demand sunshine. It simply becomes patient. There's something restful in that kind of acceptance. Not dramatic acceptance. The ordinary kind. The kind that says, this is what the world is doing right now, and then adjusts calmly. We can add a soft science note. When birds get wet, maintaining warmth becomes more important. So they may fluff feathers to trap air, choose sheltered spots, and reduce unnecessary movement. It's energy-saving, warmth-saving behavior, quietly practical. And in the city, rain creates tiny new soundscapes. Water tapping on metal, water sliding down glass, water gathering in gutters like small rivers. The pigeon rests above these sounds, letting them become background music. If you imagine a pigeon on a sheltered ledge during rain, it may puff up slightly, becoming rounder, a small feathered puffball, politely refusing to be bothered by the weather. It's almost funny, in a soft way. Pigeons can look like they're wearing oversized coats that they borrowed from someone larger. And yet, beneath that puffed softness, there is calm bodywork happening, warmth preserved, rest protected. Tonight, if your own thoughts feel rainy, if your mind has been full of little drops tapping and tapping, let the pigeon show you a gentler way to respond. Find shelter, soften your edges, let the sound be sound and nothing more. Rain doesn't have to mean anything. Thoughts don't have to mean anything. They can simply pass through. A drip, a tap, a soft slide down glass, and then quiet again. As the rain continues, the pigeon's eyelids lower. The body stays steady. The world blurs into wet reflections, and even streetlights look like they are melting gently into the pavement. It's a scene made for sleep. So let your breathing slow like rainfall. Let your chest rise and fall like a steady, soft rhythm. Let your mind become a sheltered ledge. And somewhere in that calm, the pigeon remains patient, feathered, warm, and perfectly content to rest while the world is washed clean. At night, everything becomes more noticeable because everything becomes quieter. The air feels cooler against skin. The smallest sounds travel farther. Even your own breathing can feel louder, as if the room has leaned in to listen. Pigeons breathe through this same softened world, but they do it with the calm steadiness of a creature that has practiced night for thousands of nights. A pigeon at rest looks almost like a small mound of softness. Feathers puffed slightly, head tucked back, eyes half closed, then softly open again. And beneath all that feathered quiet, the breath continues, gentle, even, unhurried. Birds have a different kind of breathing system than we do. It's wonderfully efficient, almost like the air moves through them in a smooth loop. The details can be complex, but we don't need complexity tonight. We only need the feeling. A body designed for lightness, designed for steadiness, designed to keep going without fuss. And when a pigeon rests, the breath becomes a small rhythm inside a larger rhythm. The city has its rhythm, distant hum, occasional footsteps, a far-off door closing softly. The night has its rhythm, cool air sinking, shadows deepening, wind easing along edges, and the pigeon has its own tiny rhythm, tucked into its feathers like a secret metronome. If you could hear it, which you can't, and that's honestly polite, you would find it soothing. Not a strained breath, not a worried breath, a calm breath. Sometimes pigeons sleep in short bouts, waking briefly to blink and adjust, then returning to rest. It's like the night arrives in gentle waves. The body drifts, rises slightly, then drifts again. And the pigeon does not judge itself for this. It doesn't say, "Oh, why am I still awake?" It simply blinks slowly, resettles, and continues relaxing. A lesson, honestly. Because many of us treat sleep like a test we must pass. But in nature, rest is often a practice, not a performance. It's something the body returns to again and again, softly, like a bird returning to its ledge. So tonight, if your sleep comes in waves, you can let it. If you drift and then resurface for a moment, you can be gentle with yourself. You can do what the pigeon does. Adjust your feathers, your blankets, your pillow, your breath, and settle again. Imagine now a pigeon on a warm roof edge. The night air moves around it like slow water. The pigeon's chest rises and falls, so slightly you might miss it. But it's there. Steady life, quiet continuation. And your own breath can join that rhythm. In and out. Softly. Evenly. Let your inhale be like a gentle lift of feathers. Let your exhale be like a tuck back into warmth. No need to force anything. No need to chase sleep. Just breathing, like a pigeon does. Calm, steady, content to let the night hold you. Pigeons live in a world made of small details, a single seed, a tiny crumb, a sip of water gathered in a shallow dip. Their days aren't built around grand feasts. They're built around noticing, quietly, persistently, what is available. A pigeon's beak is shaped for pecking, for picking up bits of food, for handling small pieces with quick precision. And the way pigeons eat can look simple. Step, peck, step, peck, like a slow dance with the ground. But there is more happening than it seems. They are reading texture. They are sensing shape. They are choosing what fits. And because pigeons have adapted to so many environments, their relationship with food becomes a story of flexibility. In wild places, they may feed on grains, seeds, berries, and plant matter. In human places, they learn what we leave behind. Not in a messy way, more in an opportunistic, well, thank you sort of way. Pigeons don't waste energy complaining about the menu. They are not the kind of bird to say, "I asked for oat milk." They're the kind of bird to say, silently, with one blink, food is food. Peace is peace. A gentle science note can float here. Pigeons, like many birds, have a crop that stores food temporarily. This allows them to eat in small bursts and digest later. It also supports that remarkable parenting system we mentioned, because food stored and processed becomes nourishment for young. So even a small crumb can become part of a bigger cycle. And that's a soothing thought. Tiny things matter. A tiny seed, a tiny sip, a tiny moment of noticing. Tonight, your mind can feed on small comforts too. Not big ideas, not heavy thoughts, just little, soothing details, the way your blanket feels, the temperature of air on your skin, the gentle weight of your body against the bed. Sometimes the nervous system relaxes not through grand solutions, but through tiny signals of safety repeated. Pigeons live by these signals. A familiar park bench, a predictable path, a steady ledge, a place where crumbs often appear. And while that may sound funny, it's also comforting, because it reminds us life often rests on the simple things that return. As the night continues, pigeons stop thinking about food and start thinking about rest. Their bellies settle. Their bodies grow rounder with feathered warmth. Their attention shifts from the ground to the ledge, from the crumb to the quiet. So tonight, if your thoughts feel hungry for answers, for closure, for certainty, you can offer them something smaller. A soft inhale, a slow exhale, a gentle sentence. I am here. Let that be your crumb of comfort, and like a pigeon finishing its final peck of the evening, you can step away from the day's searching and drift towards sleep, satisfied with the small, steady nourishment of calm. A rooftop can be a little world, not just a flat surface of stone and metal, but a place where tiny ecosystems form, quietly, without asking permission. Dust gathers, seeds arrive on the wind, a bit of moss appears in a crack, green as a whisper. A small insect explores a puddle left by rain, and pigeons live alongside all of it. They step between pebbles and grit like careful walkers. They perch near patches of moss as if it's just another part of the rooftop's personality. They rest near vents where warm air rises, where tiny currents create microclimates, little pockets of temperature and texture that change the feel of the night. In these small rooftop worlds, you can find surprising life. A tiny plant growing from a seam, a spider web catching moonlight like delicate thread, a beetle moving slowly in the shadow of a pipe. Nothing dramatic, just life doing what life does, filling spaces, adapting, continuing. We can hold a gentle ecological truth here. Ecosystems are networks of relationships. They don't have to be forests to be real. Even small environments contain interactions between moisture and light, between wind and seed, between stone and moss. And when animals like pigeons settle in these spaces, they become part of that network too. Sometimes pigeons carry seeds on their feet or feathers. Sometimes they contribute nutrients to the rooftop soil that forms in cracks and corners. It's not glamorous, but nature rarely is. Nature is practical. Nature is persistent. And pigeons are wonderfully persistent. If moss had a spokesperson, it might quietly nod at pigeons and say, "Yes, you understand me." Because moss and pigeons share something. They are often overlooked, yet they continue. They succeed without applause, and there is comfort in that kind of quiet success. Tonight, imagine the rooftop as a garden you didn't plan, a patchwork of small details, a place where life has settled into corners and decided to stay. The pigeon, resting there, becomes part of this calm rooftop ecology. It doesn't try to control the space. It simply occupies it, gently, like a visitor who knows how to be quiet in a library. And your own mind can become like this rooftop too. Not a perfectly cleaned surface, not a sterile emptiness, but a living place with small thoughts drifting through, some like seeds, some like tiny insects, some like soft moss in a crack. You don't need to uproot them all. You can let them be. You can let your mind be a gentle habitat where thoughts come and go without urgency. A place where calm can grow naturally, without force. And as the pigeon settles into the night on its small rooftop world, the ecosystem continues around it, quietly, softly, persistently, like a lullaby made of ordinary life. There are many ways to sleep, even for a pigeon. Some pigeons sleep standing, balanced effortlessly on their feet, body relaxed as if the ledge has become an extension of them. Others settle lower, crouching slightly, feathers puffed, looking like a small, cozy bundle placed on the world. And then there is the most iconic posture of all, the head tuck. A pigeon turns its head gently and slides its beak into the feathers along its back or shoulder, as if the bird has discovered the perfect built-in pillow. The neck disappears, the beak vanishes. The pigeon becomes a soft, rounded shape with the calm energy of someone who has finally found the good side of the pillow. It's a small miracle of comfort. We can place a soft science note here. Tucking the head helps conserve warmth. The face and beak are exposed areas where heat can be lost. So nestling into feathers is like pulling a blanket up over your chin. Feathers are insulation. The body becomes warmer. The night becomes easier to hold. And sometimes a pigeon will close one eye while keeping the other slightly open or switch sides. It isn't being suspicious. It's simply resting in a way that fits its environment. Light sleep, deep sleep, small wake-ups to adjust. If pigeons had bedtime advice, it would be gentle and practical. Choose a stable place. Puff your feathers. Put your face in the soft part. Honestly, not bad. And there is humor in how perfectly unbothered they look. A pigeon tucked in for sleep can appear so committed to rest that you almost expect it to produce a tiny sleeping cap. But no, just feathers. Feathers do all the work. As you imagine them roosting, you can feel the slowing of the night. The air becomes stiller. The city sounds thin out. The roofline holds a quietness that feels safe. And your own body, wherever it is, can mirror that pigeon posture in its own human way. Let your shoulders drop, like feathers settling. Let your neck soften. Let your jaw unclench. If your face feels tense, let it loosen as if you're tucking it into warmth. You don't need to carry the day's expressions anymore. You don't need to hold your brows in thought. You can let everything smooth out. A pigeon sleeps without trying to look elegant. It sleeps to sleep. Tonight, you can give yourself that permission too. Find the comfortable angle. Let the blanket hold you. Let the breath slow. And if you shift a little, it's okay. Pigeons shift too. Comfort is not a single perfect position. It's a gentle conversation between your body and the night. So settle like a bird on a ledge, soft, steady, and content to be held by stillness. A streetlight can feel like a second moon. Not as grand, not as distant, but still gentle in its own way, casting a circle of pale glow onto pavement, turning raindrops into tiny stars, smoothing the edges of buildings into soft silhouettes. Pigeons often roost near these pools of light, not because they crave brightness, but because the city has woven light into the night's fabric. A street light becomes part of the landscape, the way the moon becomes part of a forest. And under that quiet glow, pigeons rest. We don't know exactly what pigeons dream. We can't peek inside their sleeping minds. But we do know that birds experience sleep states, and many animals have patterns of rest that include phases of deeper sleep. It's a gentle mystery, one of nature's soft locked doors that we don't need to open. We can simply imagine. Perhaps a pigeon dreams of wind that feels like silk. Perhaps it dreams of old cliffs and salt air carried in its ancestry. Perhaps it dreams of familiar rooftops, of the same ledge it always returns to, of the comfort of home repeating. Or perhaps it dreams of something wonderfully simple, a particularly excellent crumb. That would be very on brand. The night around it remains calm. Light hums softly. Shadows shift slowly as clouds pass. A faint breeze moves, and feathers lift and settle again. The pigeon sleeps through it, trusting the world to keep turning quietly, and that trust is soothing, because so much of sleep is trust. Trust that you can let go. Trust that nothing needs your attention right now. Trust that the night can hold things for you. Pigeons practice this trust every evening. They tuck in. They close their eyes. They let the sky darken, the lights glow, the air cool, and they do not resist. They don't review their day. They don't replay conversations. They don't worry about whether they sounded weird when they cooed. They simply sleep. And if that makes you laugh softly, that's fine. Let it be gentle. Humor can be a feather too, light, floating, never loud. Tonight, imagine your own room as a soft roost, your bed as a sheltered ledge, your blanket as feathers, your breath as a quiet rhythmic coo inside your chest. Outside, even if there are distant sounds, let them be like streetlights, part of the landscape, not something you have to chase. Let the night be what it is, and if your mind drifts into images, let them come like slow clouds. A rooftop, a warm stone, a pigeon tucked into itself, a small living shape resting under a streetlight moon. No story needs conflict. No dream needs a plot twist. Just gentle floating scenes. And as those scenes blur and soften, you can let yourself do what pigeons do so well. Tuck in, settle, and allow the world to go quiet. Pigeons carry time quietly, not as numbers, not as dates, but as familiarity. A ledge remembered, a route recognized, a place that feels right before the mind explains why. Their lives are layered with memory, but memory that doesn't ache or pull. It simply rests there, ready to guide them when needed. A pigeon, returning to a familiar place, does not pause in wonder. It does not marvel at the coincidence. It simply arrives, as if saying, "Yes, this is it." There is something deeply calming about that kind of knowing. Pigeons remember landscapes the way hands remember the shape of a favorite mug, without thinking, without effort. They learn through repetition, soft, unforced learning that settles into the body over time. A building becomes familiar. A skyline becomes trusted. A corner becomes home. And even when the city changes, and it always does, pigeons adjust gently. A ledge disappears, and another is found. A path shifts, and a new rhythm forms. Memory does not break, it adapts. This is not dramatic resilience, it is quiet continuity. We can hold a gentle science note here. Pigeons have strong spatial memory, and they are excellent at recognizing patterns in their environment. Over time, repeated experiences form stable internal maps. These maps don't demand attention. They simply work. And maybe that's the most restful part. Not everything needs to be consciously remembered. Not everything needs to be revisited. Some knowledge can simply live inside us, doing its job, without noise. At night, when pigeons rest, these memories sleep too. The internal maps go quiet. The roots rest. The mind of the bird doesn't rehearse tomorrow's flight. It trusts that the memory will be there when morning comes. And perhaps that's something we can borrow. You don't need to hold every memory tonight. You don't need to solve the future. You don't need to replay the past. Like a pigeon tucked into feathers, you can let memory rest. The day has already been lived. The night does not ask for performance. So imagine a pigeon on its ledge, feathers warmed, eyes closed. All the places it knows are gently folded away inside it, like a map placed back in a pocket. Safe, available, but not required right now. And as you lie there, you can do the same. Let your memory settle. Let your mind trust itself. Let sleep arrive knowing that what matters will return when you need it. Tonight is not for remembering. Tonight is for resting. Places remember us, even when we don't think about it. A rooftop remembers the weight of a bird that rests there each night. A ledge remembers warmth. A beam remembers shelter. The city, quietly, becomes a library of touch and presence. And pigeons move through this library with ease. They don't read the signs out loud. They don't analyze the shelves. They simply return to the places that feel familiar. Places shaped not just by structure, but by repeated use. A place becomes home, not because it is perfect, but because it has been returned to. We can see this in nature everywhere. Footpaths form where many feet pass. Smooth stones appear where water has flowed again and again. Tree bark carries scars that heal, ring by ring, year by year. The landscape remembers, patiently, and pigeons are part of that memory. A ledge slightly worn by claws, a beam polished by feathers, a corner that feels smoother than it once did. These are quiet records of belonging. There is something deeply soothing about knowing that presence leaves gentle marks, not damage, not disruption, just signs of having been there. And pigeons do not rush this process. They don't try to make a place theirs in one night. They return, they settle, they repeat, and over time, the place and the pigeon recognize each other. That kind of relationship takes patience. It takes slowness. It takes trust. Tonight, you can let yourself imagine the places that have known you in this way. Not the dramatic places, the ordinary ones. A chair you sit in often. A room that holds your breath at night. A window you've looked out of many times. These places remember your presence. They are shaped by it, even if only slightly. And like the pigeon's ledge, they do not demand anything in return. They simply hold you. As the night deepens, the idea of place becomes softer. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to arrive. You are already where you need to be. And just as pigeons rest within landscapes that remember them, you can rest within this moment, held by space, by stillness, by the quiet recognition that you belong here. Pigeons balance without thinking about balance. They perch on narrow ledges. They rest on wires. They sleep standing, bodies steady, unmoving. And they do this not by trying harder, but by trusting their design. Their bodies know where their weight belongs. Their feet grip naturally. Their posture adjusts without instruction. Balance happens because everything is allowed to work together. It's a beautiful example of harmony without effort. In ecosystems, balance often looks like this too. Not a perfect stillness, but a quiet adjustment. Small shifts that keep everything upright. Feedback that doesn't announce itself. Plants lean toward light. Animals move toward shelter. Water finds the lowest point. No one argues with gravity. No one resists the flow. And pigeons, especially, embody this gentle agreement with the world. They don't fight their environment. They read it. They respond. They settle. If a ledge is narrow, they adjust. If the wind shifts, they lean. If the night cools, they puff their feathers. All of this happens calmly, without complaint. There is a lesson here that feels especially kind at night. You do not need to hold yourself rigid to stay upright. You do not need to tense to remain steady. Sometimes balance comes from softening, letting your shoulders drop, letting your jaw loosen, letting your breath find its own rhythm. The body is wiser than we give it credit for. Tonight, you can trust it. Like a pigeon resting on a ledge, you can let gravity hold you. You don't need to brace against sleep. You don't need to control it. You can simply allow yourself to settle into the place where you already are. And in that allowance, balance appears quietly, naturally, without effort. Pigeons are poets of adaptation, not with words, but with presence. They have learned to live among cliffs that turned into buildings, among stones that became streets, among wind patterns shaped by architecture. And they did not lose themselves in the process. They adjusted. Adaptation in nature is not a sudden transformation. It is a slow conversation with the environment. A small change here, a quiet shift there. Over time, those adjustments become a way of life. Pigeons did not abandon their instincts. They translated them. A cliff became a skyscraper. A rock ledge became a windowsill. A coastal wind became an urban draft. And still, they rest. There is poetry in that. Because adaptation does not mean constant struggle. It often means learning where softness can still exist, where shelter remains, where rhythm continues. And pigeons find rhythm everywhere. In traffic patterns, in human schedules, in the daily rise and fall of light. They don't resist change by standing still. They move with it, gently. Tonight, this idea can feel like reassurance. You do not need to be the same as you once were to be whole. You do not need to resist every shift. Like pigeons, you can adapt without losing your calm. You can find ledges in new places. You can find rest in unfamiliar rooms. You can carry your sense of home within you. And as the night deepens, adaptation becomes easier. The mind stops clinging. The body relaxes. The world asks less. You are allowed to soften into what is. And somewhere above a quiet street, a pigeon sleeps, perfectly adapted, perfectly at ease, living proof that change does not have to steal peace. There is a gentle loop in the pigeon's life. Outward movement, quiet return, rest, again and again. This flow does not feel forced. It feels natural, like breathing. like tides, like the way evening always seems to arrive whether we notice it or not. Pigeons leave their roosts during the day, drifting through the city, feeding, observing, moving through shared spaces. And then, as light fades, they return, not hurried, not anxious, simply drawn back by familiarity. Returning is part of the rhythm, and rhythm in nature is deeply calming. We see it everywhere. Leaves fall and grow again. Seasons circle back. Water evaporates and returns as rain. Nothing is meant to go in only one direction forever. The pigeon understands this without reflection. It does not ask, "Should I go back?" It feels the pull and follows. There is comfort in knowing that return is allowed, that rest is not something you earn by exhaustion, that sleep is not a reward, it is part of the cycle. Tonight, you are in the returning phase. The outward movement of the day is over. The tasks have loosened their grip. The noise has thinned. What remains is the quiet pull back toward yourself. And like a pigeon finding its ledge, you can let that pull guide you. No effort required, no destination to force, just a gentle drifting inward. As you lie there, you can imagine your thoughts making small circles, then slowing, then settling. You can imagine your awareness folding back into your body, like wings tucking in. The night is wide. The world is safe enough, and returning feels easy. So let yourself return to stillness, to softness, to sleep. And in that return, you may find what pigeons find every night, not a grand ending, but a quiet continuation, held gently by the dark. Not all cooperation in nature looks like a handshake. Sometimes it looks like simply not getting in the way. A pigeon flock moving across a plaza has an unspoken order. No whistles, no meetings, no agenda. One bird steps, another shifts. A small gap opens, then closes again. They share space with an ease that feels almost like quiet choreography. It isn't perfect, of course. There are occasional awkward moments, two pigeons reaching for the same crumb with the same confidence. But even then, the energy is more mild disagreement than epic drama. The pigeon version of conflict is often just a brief repositioning and a strong sense of personal opinion. And then everyone continues. There's a gentle lesson hiding in this. Cooperation doesn't always need big gestures. Sometimes it's simply the small adjustments we make so life can move smoothly together. In ecosystems, cooperation can be subtle too. Plants offer nectar and insects carry pollen without signing any contracts. Trees provide shade and soil holds water, and fungi help roots share nutrients. Nothing announces itself with banners. The relationships just happen, quietly, repeatedly, kindly. Even pigeons moving through human spaces participate in these quiet networks. They spread seeds. They help shape tiny rooftop ecosystems. They become part of the city's living texture. Like a note in a song you don't notice until it's gone. And among themselves, flock life creates a shared calm. When many birds settle on a ledge, their bodies form a small community of warmth and familiarity. If one bird relaxes, another often relaxes too. Rest becomes contagious in the best possible way. Honestly, we could use more of that. A world where calm spreads easily. Tonight, you don't need to cooperate. with anyone except the night itself. You can practice the pigeon version of cooperation. Make small adjustments that support softness. Shift your shoulders a fraction lower. Let your hands rest without gripping. Let your tongue relax from the roof of your mouth. Allow your breath to become slower, as if it's joining a flock rhythm, steady and shared. You don't have to force peace. You can let it arrive through tiny acts of easing. And if a thought tries to take center stage, you can treat it like a pigeon reaching for a crumb. You notice it, you smile softly, and you let it pass without a big reaction. The flock continues. The night continues. You continue, quietly, calmly, towards sleep. Nature is full of beginnings and endings, but it rarely makes a spectacle of them. A leaf falls, a seed settles, a bird hatches, a feather drifts away, and the world continues, softly turning like a slow wheel. Pigeons live inside these cycles with a calm practicality. They nest. They feed their young. They molt and replace feathers. They grow older. They rest. The cycle doesn't ask for perfection. It simply asks for continuation. One of the gentlest changes in a pigeon's life is molting, when old feathers are gradually replaced by new ones. It isn't an overnight transformation. It's slow, quiet, a little feather here, a little feather there, a body refreshing its outer layer without drama. It's comforting, that idea. Renewal can be gradual. You don't have to become new all at once. You can change in tiny, nearly invisible ways. In the natural world, most transformation is like that. Not a grand reveal, more like a slow shift of light across a wall. Morning becomes afternoon without a loud announcement. Winter loosens into spring 1 degree at a time. And pigeons, with their steady routines, remind us that cycles can be safe. You can wake. You can live. You can return. You can rest. Even if a day feels heavy, it still moves toward evening. Even if your mind feels busy, it still has the ability to quiet. Even if you feel imperfect, you still belong in the turning. Tonight, you are at a gentle point in your own cycle. The doing part has softened. The thinking part can slow. The resting part can begin. And it's okay if you're not fully ready. Nature doesn't wait for perfect readiness. It simply turns, and in that turning, we find our place. If you'd like a tiny featherlight joke, let it be this. Pigeons don't seem to have existential crises about their life cycles. They don't stare into the distance and say, "What does it all mean?" They mostly say, "Where's the warm ledge?" And then continue being remarkably committed to that plan. Honestly, not a bad philosophy. So let the cycle carry you. Let your thoughts drift like a feather that doesn't need a destination. Let your body renew itself and rest, the way a bird renews its feathers over time. The night is part of the turning, and you are allowed to be held by it. Slowness is not a flaw in nature. It is often the point. Moss spreads slowly. Stone warms slowly. Dusk arrives slowly. And pigeons, despite their ability to take flight, also understand slowness. They walk with unhurried steps. They rest for long stretches. They preen one feather at a time, as if the concept of rushing simply never made it onto the pigeon curriculum. There's a deep serenity in that. Because slowness allows noticing. It allows the nervous system to unclench. It gives the world time to feel safe again. Tonight, Imagine a pigeon in a quiet place, moving at the speed of comfort. A step, a pause, a blink. No pressure to be efficient. No need to multitask. Just one gentle action at a time. The world we live in often rewards speed. Faster replies, faster decisions, faster everything. But the body, your body, was not built to live at maximum speed forever. The body likes intervals. It likes pauses. It likes slowness the way a candle likes darkness around it. Pigeons offer a soft invitation. You can slow down without losing your worth. You can rest without falling behind. Because nature is not a race. Nature is a rhythm. A slow inhale, a slower exhale, a steady return. Even in the middle of a city, where everything seems to move, pigeons create pockets of slowness. They sit on ledges and watch. They settle on roofs and soften. They become quiet punctuation marks in a sentence that usually runs too fast. And it's quietly funny, isn't it, that pigeons, often treated as background, might be some of the best teachers of calm pacing. They're like, "We have been here a long time. We recommend taking it down several notches." So tonight, you can practice slowness with them. Let your breathing stretch a little longer. Let your shoulders drop a little more. Let your thoughts move like slow clouds rather than racing cars. If you find yourself trying to get to sleep, you can loosen that effort. Sleep doesn't respond well to chasing. Sleep is more like a shy animal. You meet it by being still. And slowness is stillness's friendly cousin. So let everything slow. Let the room be quiet. Let your mind be less urgent. Let your body settle at the speed it prefers. The pigeon does not hurry towards sleep. It simply becomes sleepy and then sleeps. You can do the same. There is a gentle kind of letting go that happens in nature every evening. Light loosens its grip on the day. Warmth drifts upward and fades. Bird song quiets, and pigeons, so steady in their routines, move into the night as if returning is the most natural thing in the world. They don't cling to the day. They don't try to hold on to the last bright moment. They simply let it go, because another day will come, and tonight is for rest. That's the quiet wisdom of returning home. Home, for a pigeon, is often a particular ledge, a familiar beam, a sheltered place that feels right in the body. Home is not a trophy. It's not earned through overwork. It's simply where the pigeon settles. And perhaps for you, tonight, home is not a location at all. It can be the feeling of your body supported, the feeling of your breath becoming steady, the feeling of being allowed to stop. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be small. Let go of your forehead tension. Let go of your tongue pressing upward. Let go of your hands holding the day like a heavy bag. You don't have to drop everything at once. You can release in gentle pieces, the way a pigeon releases the day one slow blink at a time. And if your thoughts keep returning, little loops, little worries, you can treat them like birds returning to a familiar roof. You don't need to shoo them away. You can simply notice them and then guide your attention back to something softer. Your breath, the weight of the blanket, the quiet of the room. Returning is a practice, and pigeons practice it nightly. There's also something tender about the idea that returning isn't failure. It's not retreat. It's restoration. In nature, everything returns. Water to the ground, leaves to the soil, animals to their dens, birds to their roosts. Returning is how life refills itself. So tonight, you can return too. Return from thinking into sensing. Return from planning into breathing. Return from effort into ease. And if you'd like a tiny whisper of humor, let it be this. Pigeons return to the same ledges so consistently that if they had calendars, every entry would read, 8 p.m., go home. No debate, no overthinking, just commitment to comfort. A beautiful way to live. So let the day loosen, let the night hold you, and allow yourself to return quietly, kindly, into the simplest home there is, your own resting body. And now, very softly, we return to the question from earlier, not to solve it, not to pin it down, just to let it pass through the mind like a remembered scent. What does it mean to feel at home, in a place that never truly stays the same? Tonight, we've watched pigeons move through change with quiet grace. The city shifts around them, light, weather, structures, patterns of people. And still, they return. Still, they settle. Still, they find softness in familiar corners. Home for them seems to be something carried gently inside, a memory of a ledge, a knowledge of shelter, a rhythm of returning. And maybe for you, home can be that too. Not a frozen picture of life staying the same, but a feeling you can find again, even as everything moves. Because change doesn't have to steal belonging. The pigeon rests in a world that changes nightly. Temperatures falling, wind shifting, shadows moving across rooftops. Yet it tucks into its feathers and sleeps. It doesn't wait for the perfect, unchanging moment. It rests within the moment that exists. That is a quiet kind of home. So tonight, you can let your own sense of home become simpler. Home can be the feeling of your breath settling. Home can be the weight of your body supported. Home can be the small safety of this room, this bed, this pause. You don't need certainty about tomorrow to rest tonight. You don't need everything to stay the same. You only need a small corner of calm that you can return to, again and again, like a pigeon returning to its ledge. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Wandering is natural. Returning is natural too. Drifting and returning, settling and returning, loosening and returning. Let the question float away now, like a feather released into still air. You can keep it in the background, soft and quiet, without carrying it in your hands. The night is deepening. The city is smoothing out. And somewhere above the streets, pigeons are already tucked in, bodies round, eyes closed, trusting the darkness to hold them until morning. You can trust it too. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts soften. Let yourself settle into the gentle truth the pigeons seem to know. Home can be a rhythm. Home can be returning. Home can be rest. The night continues to quiet itself. Not all at once, not like a switch. More like a slow hand turning down the volume, one small notch, then another. Wind that was once noticeable becomes softer, as if it has remembered it doesn't need to speak loudly. It slips between buildings with less insistence. It brushes the edges of rooftops like a gentle fingertip and then drifts on. Somewhere below, water gathers in a shallow place, maybe a gutter, maybe a small dip in the pavement. It doesn't rush. It doesn't perform. It simply sits, reflecting whatever light remains, smoothing its surface each time the air stills. This is the mood of descent, the world settling, the edges rounding off, everything becoming less sharp. And on ledges and beams, pigeons remain tucked into themselves, resting with the calm commitment of creatures who take sleep seriously, but not anxiously. Their bodies are small, but their stillness feels wide. Feathers hold warmth, heads tuck in, eyes remain closed longer, a quiet exhale, a subtle shift, then stillness again. Night animals do not announce their rest. They simply rest, and you can too. If your mind is still busy, you don't need to fight it. You can let thoughts move the way wind moves, softly across the surface, never needing to land. Let them pass, let them thin out, let them become less interesting. The body loves boring. Boring is safe. A quiet room, a steady breath, a familiar blanket. These are the cues that tell the nervous system it can lower its guard. So allow your shoulders to soften as if they're being warmed by stone. Let your forehead smooth. Let your hands rest without holding anything invisible. You don't need to carry the day into the night. The day can sit somewhere else now, like water in a gutter, still present, but not in your hands. And if a small smile appears, because pigeons really do look like tiny, round sleep experts, let that smile be gentle, almost drowsy, like humor that comes with half-closed eyes. Even the pigeons seem to say, "We have done enough. The rest can wait." Wind eases, water smooths, the city dims. And in that dimming, your breathing can become the main sound again, steady, slow, familiar. In and out, as if each breath is another step downward, another layer of softness. The world is settling, and you are allowed to settle with it. There is a moment at night when thinking begins to feel less important. Not because thinking is bad, but because thinking can take a break. Pigeons don't carry thoughts the way we do. They don't sit on a ledge and replay a conversation from 3 years ago. They don't invent tomorrow's worries and then rehearse them like a play. They simply shift their feathers and let the world go quiet. If you watch a pigeon settle, you'll see small adjustments, a tiny lift of wings, a soft fluff, a gentle smoothing. These movements look like comfort becoming physical, like the bird is arranging itself into the best possible version of resting, and then it stops. That stopping is the key. A body that stops tells the mind it can stop too. Tonight, imagine your thoughts as feathers. Some are neat and aligned. Some are out of place. Some feel like they're sticking up in the wrong direction. Little worries, little to-do lists, little sharp edges. You don't have to yank them out. You don't have to fix them all. You can simply loosen. Let a thought drift slightly, like a feather releasing tension. Let it float, then settle somewhere harmless. The mind doesn't need to grip every idea. If you notice a thought that feels loud, you can treat it with gentle indifference, like a pigeon noticing a distant sound and then deciding it's not worth moving for. Oh, that thought. And then, back to stillness. A soft science note can live here, very quietly. Bodies relax through signals of safety, steady breathing, comfortable temperature, predictable quiet. When the body feels safe, the mind usually follows, even if it takes a few minutes. So we focus on body first. Let your jaw unclench. Let your tongue rest. Let your shoulders drop into the bed. Let your chest rise and fall without effort. Loose body, loose mind. And if you need something to picture, imagine a pigeon's feathers settling layer by layer, each feather lying down like it's finally done being responsible. It's a funny image, but also comforting. Even feathers get to rest. Even the smallest pieces of a creature get to stop. So your thoughts can stop too. Not permanently, not forever, just for tonight. You will have time tomorrow. Your mind will still be there. But now you can practice what pigeons practice: a slow softening, a gentle tuck into comfort, a quiet release of unnecessary effort. Loose feathers, loose thoughts, and as everything loosens, sleep becomes less like something you chase and more like something you allow. Night has weight, but it's the kind weight. Not heavy like a burden, heavy like a quilt. It settles over rooftops and streets. It dims the corners. It softens distance. It makes the world feel smaller in the best way, less demanding, less exposed, more held. Pigeons understand this blanket night. They tuck their heads, they puff their feathers, they turn their bodies into round warmth and let darkness cover everything else. And the city, under night, becomes almost gentle enough to call natural. Streetlights glow like small amber moons. Windows become quiet squares of dim light, then fade. The air cools in slow degrees. Even the shapes of buildings look softer, as if night has smoothed them with its hands. A pigeon's roost, beam, ledge, nook becomes a tiny bedroom above the world. And in that bedroom, nothing is required. No flying, no foraging, no mapping, only resting. Tonight, you can borrow this feeling. Night as blanket. Let the darkness in your room, whatever level it is, feel protective rather than empty. Let the shadows be soft. Let the quiet be a cushion. If you're someone who tends to think too much in the dark, you can remind yourself, night isn't asking you to solve anything. Night is asking you to soften, like a blanket. And if a small sound happens, a house settling, a distant car, let it be like a tiny stitch in the quilt, part of the fabric, not a threat, just the world continuing gently. Pigeons sleep through these small noises. They trust the night to contain them. They trust their roost. They trust their feathers. And you can trust what holds you too. The bed beneath you, the air around you, the steady pattern of your breath. If you'd like, imagine your exhale as the blanket settling a little more with each breath. Inhale. The blanket lifts slightly. Exhale. It falls, warmer and heavier, slowly. You don't need to force sleep. Sleep is already nearby, like a blanket you've been holding. You only need to let it cover you fully. And on rooftops, pigeons are doing exactly that, allowing night to wrap around them, keeping them warm, quiet, and safe. Let your eyelids grow heavier if they want to. Let the muscles of your face soften. Let the body accept the blanket of dark. Night is kind. Night is patient. Night becomes a quilt, and you become still beneath it. Now we move into the deepest softness, the part of the story where facts quiet down and imagery takes over, because the mind doesn't need information anymore. It needs comfort. It needs repetition. It needs the feeling of being carried. Imagine the rooftop again. Stone that held heat is now cooler but not cold, just calm, like a hand that has stopped moving. The air is still, The city is dim. Somewhere far away, a faint sound travels, then fades before it becomes anything sharp. And pigeons, round shapes on ledges, are fully settled. They look like little stones made of feathers, little warm pebbles arranged along a beam. Their breathing is steady. Their bodies are quiet. Their heads are tucked, as if each bird has found the perfect secret pillow hidden inside its own coat. Even the stones seem relaxed. They've had practice. That tiny thought can make you smile softly, and then the smile can melt away, because you don't need to hold it. You don't need to hold anything. Let your attention return to your breath again. Breath is always here. Breath is always a home. In and out. Each inhale is a gentle lift. Each exhale is a deeper settling. If thoughts appear, let them appear as slow images. A feather drifting down through quiet air. A streetlight reflected in a puddle. A rooftop edge under moonlight. A pigeon tucked into itself, completely unbothered by tomorrow. These images don't need meaning. They only need softness. And if your mind tries to grab one and turn it into a plan, you can let it slip away, like water smoothing over a stone, like fog sliding across a field. Fog doesn't explain itself. It simply drifts. And you can drift too. Feel your body heavy where it touches the bed. Feel your shoulders sink. Feel your hands resting. Feel your legs growing still. The world outside continues quietly, but it doesn't need you right now. You have done enough. The pigeons have done enough. The night has taken over the job of holding everything. So let yourself be held. Let your breathing slow a little more. Let your eyelids grow heavier. Let the space behind your eyes become dark and quiet, like a sheltered roost. Everything slows, even stone, even thought. And in this slowing, sleep becomes natural, like the next step in a rhythm that has been waiting for you all along. We return now to familiar motifs, like a lullaby repeating its gentlest lines. Water, wind, feathers, stone, distant light. These are the simple pieces the mind can hold without effort. Imagine wind again, barely moving, just enough to shift the edge of a leaf. Imagine water again, smooth, reflective, still. Imagine feathers again, layered warmth, quiet design. And imagine the pigeon again, small, rounded, resting above a sleeping street. There is comfort in repetition. The mind likes to know what comes next. The body likes predictability. A familiar loop tells the nervous system, you are safe. So we loop softly. Your breath comes in. Your breath goes out. In, out. A pigeon tucks deeper into its feathers. A streetlight hums quietly. A rooftop holds the night like a palm. In, out. The city feels far away now, even if it's close. Everything has softened into background. In, out. If thoughts return, let them be part of the loop, not interruptions, just passing shapes. A thought can drift in like a cloud and drift out again, leaving the sky of your mind quieter behind it. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to finish it. Let it pass. In, out. Somewhere on a ledge, a pigeon shifts slightly, then becomes still again. The movement is small, like adjusting a blanket, and you can adjust too if you need to. A tiny shift, a softer position, then stillness again. In, out. Let your breathing become your only task, not forced, not controlled, just noticed, just allowed. In, out. The night continues its gentle work. The world dims further. The edges blur. The inside of your body becomes warm and quiet. In, out. And if it helps, you can imagine the pigeons as little guardians of calm, perched above, keeping watch, but in the most relaxed way possible. Not alert, not tense. More like, yes, everything is fine. We are very sleepy. Please join us. It's silly in a soft way, and it can make you feel less alone. In, out. The loop continues. The breath continues. The softness continues. And somewhere in that steady repetition, sleep finds you. Not as something you must reach, but as something you are gently carried into. We return now to familiar motifs, like a lullaby repeating its gentlest lines. Water, wind, feathers, stone, distant light. These are the simple pieces the mind can hold without effort. Imagine wind again, barely moving, just enough to shift the edge of a leaf. Imagine water again, smooth, reflective, still. Imagine feathers again, layered warmth, quiet design. And imagine the pigeon again, small, rounded, resting above a sleeping street. There is comfort in repetition. The mind likes to know what comes next. The body likes predictability. A familiar loop tells the nervous system, you are safe. So we loop softly. Your breath comes in, your breath goes out, in, out. A pigeon tucks deeper into its feathers. A street light hums quietly. A rooftop holds the night like a palm. In, out. The city feels far away now, even if it's close. Everything has softened into background. In, out. If thoughts return, let them be part of the loop, not interruptions, just passing shapes. A thought can drift in like a cloud and drift out again, leaving the sky of your mind quieter behind it. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to finish it. Let it pass. In, out. Somewhere on a ledge, a pigeon shifts slightly, then becomes still again. The movement is small, like adjusting a blanket, and you can adjust too if you need to. A tiny shift, a softer position, then stillness again. In, out. Let your breathing become your only task, not forced, not controlled, just noticed, just allowed. In, out. The night continues its gentle work. The world dims further, the edges blur, the inside of your body becomes warm and quiet. In, out. And if it helps, you can imagine the pigeons as little guardians of calm, perched above, keeping watch, but in the most relaxed way possible. Not alert, not tense, more like, yes, everything is fine. We are very sleepy. Please join us. It's silly in a soft way, and it can make you feel less alone. In, out. The loop continues. The breath continues. The softness continues. And somewhere in that steady repetition, sleep finds you. Not as something you must reach, but as something you are gently carried into. There is a kind of belonging that doesn't need words. It isn't loud. It isn't announced. It's simply felt. Pigeons belong to rooftops the way moss belongs to stone, by returning, by settling, by being part of the landscape without demanding attention. And you tonight belong too. You belong to this moment of rest. You belong to the quiet. You belong to the slow rhythm of your own breathing. Sometimes people think belonging must be earned through achievements, through being impressive, through doing enough. But nature rarely works that way. Nature belongs because it exists. A bird belongs on a ledge because it is a bird, and a ledge is a place to rest. No permission required. that is a tender thought for the night. You don't need to earn sleep. You don't need to deserve rest through exhaustion. Rest is part of being alive. So let the idea of belonging settle into your chest like warmth, not as a big statement, but as a gentle sensation, like being wrapped in a familiar blanket, like coming home without needing an explanation. Somewhere above a quiet street, pigeons are nestled together, soft shapes against stone. They share space without tension. They rest without guilt. They trust the night to keep turning until morning. And you can trust that too. You can trust the bed beneath you. You can trust the room around you. You can trust your body to keep breathing, even as your mind drifts away. If you'd like a tiny lullaby-sized joke, almost whispered, it can be this. Pigeons belong so confidently that even when they're doing absolutely nothing, they look like they have an important appointment with relaxation, like they're professionals, like they have a resume, skills, sitting quietly, returning to the same ledge, being round and warm, not overthinking. Honestly, inspiring. And now, you don't need to overthink either. Let your thoughts become quieter. Let your awareness soften at the edges. Let your body feel heavier and safer. Belonging can be this simple. A breath, a bed, a night that holds you. And as the pigeons sleep, you can sleep too, folding into the dark with a quiet certainty that you are allowed to be here, exactly as you are. The night is very deep now. The city has thinned into distant hush. The last sharp edges have softened. Even time feels less like a line and more like a slow, dark river, moving steadily, carrying everything without asking you to steer. On rooftops, pigeons are still, feathers settled, heads tucked, bodies warm in their own quiet design. Streetlights continue their gentle glow, but they feel far away. Wind barely moves. Water lies smooth wherever it has gathered. Shadows rest in corners without shifting much at all. And you, wherever you are, can become part of this stillness. Let your breathing be the only movement you notice. A slow rise, a slow fall. If thoughts appear, let them drift like leaves on water. They can float past without needing to be caught. They can soften into nothing. They can dissolve into the dark. The way fog dissolves when it finds a warmer pocket of air. Your body is safe enough. Your room is quiet enough. This moment is gentle enough. And you don't have to do anything else. Sometimes we think sleep is a destination, but it's more like a tide. It comes in when conditions are soft, when the mind stops gripping, when the body feels held. Tonight, the conditions are soft. The story has slowed. The images have blurred. The world has narrowed to comfort. A rooftop ledge, a feathered body, a steady breath, a quiet sense of home. Everything we visited tonight, wind, water, stone, feather, light, returns now as a single calm feeling. The wild is not only a place, it's a motion, a rhythm, a gentle flow that continues whether we're awake or asleep, and you can rest inside that flow. Let the day slide away. Let tomorrow wait. Let your mind drift into the kind of quiet where nothing needs to be named. Now, very softly, we close as promised, unchanged, like a familiar goodnight. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.